So that is what is actually the message that is being posed by the Bible here concerning what it is, the world we live in, what it is. It is the place whereby the power of God is revealed. It is the place that whereby the glory of God can be discerned, and it is the place human being to be responsible as steward of the world. So I think that's actually what is trying the message that I can read from this passage, and from this thing I read some line. There is one Russian theologian by the name of Kuriev. He said something about this story of Genesis. There is something that we can find similarities in some way with the biological evolution in the thought or in the message that we can see in that book, in spite of it's not being the story of evolution itself. But we read like as well as, let me read for you some line. We can mention aspect of their thought, means there here being the Greek church fathers, the Eastern church fathers. We can mention an aspect of their thought such as the single universal seed implanted by God from which all life arose. That spirit that is brooding on the water. The impermanence and mutability of all created things. Everything is changed. Nothing is fixed. And then the mutual dependence of time and becoming, and the interconnectedness of all life on earth. This one originated from the other one. So that will see how the Greek church fathers see the process of creation and the message that we get. So he says also, it appears that some of the Greek church fathers had an understanding of creation that might be compatible with an evolutionary model. So, but of course, it's not biological evolution, but it's theological. But then we maybe out of that we can have dialogue between theology and science based upon similar principle of understanding of creation. So that's what I can share with you today. Maybe Dorothy, but.
So I'm just gonna give a short, brief. About my particular experience. I'm obviously his wife. I grew up not Orthodox. I grew up Protestant, and I was homeschooled. And so the teaching I got as far as biology went was very New Earth creationism / intelligent design. And then I went to college, and I went to college at College Park, and I took a biology course. Because I decided I wanted to major in biology. And I lucked out and had a professor who decided to talk about this in the class and not approach it as one of my biology professors did, as that is the religion of science, you don't need to worry about it. But decided to approach it in a scientific manner, but also not in a way where evolution and faith are completely anathema. Anathema means polar opposites.
Yeah.
And completely unable to be with each other in one thing. That was very eye-opening. And I lucked out where my parents taught me more to search for truth than to hold to certain beliefs. And so I, through that talk, decided to look into it a little bit more, and I came to accept the theory of evolution. So I mean, the science, you all have heard it in your classes. You've all taken high school biology at least. I think the biggest thing for me was there was a lot of misinformation when I was learning about it originally. And that's in part due to the scientists, I feel. We we don't teach very well. The great irony is that we spend all our time studying this stuff, and yet many of us are not very good at communicating exactly what we do and why it's important in the grand scheme of things. So, I mean, I'd rather leave it up for questions that everyone here has than go on and on about the science, which you can look up yourself. If you have specific questions, feel free to, ask them. But another point I would like to make is, on the other side of things is many people think, who aren't necessarily Christians or very religious, that faith means a blind belief in something. You don't look at it. Where faith actually means is trust. And trust is part of a relationship, just like I trust my husband. I have faith in my husband, and that's more what faith means rather than a blind belief in some entity, but rather a trust. So.
Some years ago, I studied in Ohio State University in Columbus, Ohio. And I took one of this class, and I had discussion with one of my professors. We were talking about science and religion. And then after a long discussion, finally he said, science has its own dogma, just religion has dogma. What is that? You have confession of faith? We do also. What is that? That the world is closed. In the sense, there is no intervention from outside of itself. And the world is observable. It means in 10 or 15 something. That is the dogma of science. You have to believe it in order to be good science. And as a scientist. And also, as you also have your religious leaders to believe, we also signed our scientists as our priest. So it's the same. Is it religion then? Yes, it's pseudo-religion. So that's what I got the answer from this professor. Right? He was honest enough to say that. Yes, it's religion, but pseudo-religion. So that's why I think if we just keep ourselves in our own dogma, the dogma of science and the dogma of religion, we will never meet. So therefore, we need to be to understand that both there is some a certain kind of presupposition that both can be believed blindly. Even there is faith in science blindly, faith in religion blindly. If what my professor at that time said was true, that is pseudo-religion there. We have to be open. We cannot be it has to be like this. We have to be open because life is dialogue. We can dialogue with each other.
And that's an important part of being a scientist is being open to being wrong. When you do experiments, either you messed up in frequent cases that don't get published, but your models and your hypotheses and your theories are constantly changing. And we, as scientists, constantly have this moving target that we're searching for is why does something do what it's doing, for example, how does DNA replication occur? We have some of the basics down about that now, but we don't know anything, about details or mechanisms or what starts what, that kind of thing. And so we're unfortunate in science to have a constant moving target of what we're searching for. Because the minute we find something else out, we have, another 100 questions to answer when we find one thing.